you ever heard the story of the tortoise and the hare? I would assume so. It is a story taught to many during their early educational years. The hare challenges the tortoise, jeering at his slow pace. However, in the end, the hare burns himself out far too quick, and the steady pace of the tortoise wins out. It's a simple story, one that can be told in very few words, as I have just shown. The story of the tortoise and the hare is one of Aesop's Fables, a collection of hundreds of fables credited to Aesop. One of the most interesting things, however, is that a lot of the fables, if not potentially even the majority of the fables, may not have actually been written by Aesop, or Aesop may not have even existed. As he is such an old historical figure, there is not much information on him, and through history, these fables have been ascribed to him due to certain mentions by historical figures, such as some Greek philosophers. Many may not have even been written until after his time, making Aesop more of a genre of fable in my eyes than an author. So why have these fables made it hundreds of years, and why do they have so much influence and renown today? I think first of all it comes down to their simplicity. None of the fables are very long, the longest I could find being the Mountebank and the Countryman, which really isn't even that long in itself. So why is this simplicity so important? I think it makes it easy to digest. Take a look at my previous mention of the tortoise and the hare. I described the story in a couple sentences. However, really, you could expand the story to create a whole book if you wanted to, and the message would still be the same. Having such simple and quick stories makes it easy for the reader to come to and understand the moral at the end. The moral being the most important part of the fable and the purpose for which they were written. Alongside their short length, they generally only have two characters or main protagonists. For example, the ant and the dove, the eagle and the fox, the wasp and the snake. Utilizing such well-known animals and their traits within the stories keeps them very easy to understand for readers who are already intimately familiar with them, while at the same time, utilizing a rule of usually only two main characters keeps the story from being cluttered with too many voices. Simplicity truly is key here, and I believe that is one of the factors that have made the fables so popular over time, and why they are still so well known today. As I have already said, these stories are very short and simple, which also makes them very easy to translate between languages and cultures. As they originated in ancient Greece, this has obviously benefited them, as they have been translated so broadly up until today. I, for example, have an advanced level of Spanish knowledge, and looking at any of the stories, I am confident that I could translate them to Spanish in mere minutes. But by translatability, I don't just mean in terms of what language they are written in. I mean in terms of content. Say you wanted to have the story of the dogs and the fox, which involves the skin of a lion, some dogs, and obviously a fox. Maybe you want this story to be read by someone from South America, for example. Well, dogs are very well known there, but maybe the reader won't understand what a fox or a lion is. Well, you can replace the fox with an otter, an animal native there, and the lion with a jaguar, another native animal, and also a predator. The reader will be more familiar with these animals, making the story more relatable and the moral easier to understand. The use of animals makes it very easy to translate the story to any culture or region by using any sort of animal native to that region. The stories are just so simple and effective, and they are effective due to the morals they offer. Morals. This is what most people remember from Aesop's Fables, a teaching for the reader that gives some sort of life lesson. Morals are one of the most brilliant aspects of Aesop's Fables, in my opinion. The morals can be anything from slow and steady wins the race, to a disobliging temper carries its own punishment, as seen in The Horse and the Loaded Ass. With hundreds of fables, each carrying their own teachings, it is easy for any reader to find something that they can relate to. Alongside the vast number of teachings, they are all rather simplistic and universal. This universality contributes heavily to their appeal, as they can be shown to children or adults to the same effect. Personally, although I have not read many of the fables since I was a kid, I can still relate to almost all of their teachings, just as I could back then. They have an aspect of agelessness to them that I think is due to their short simplicity, structure, and easy to understand subjects. And that's the video. I have always loved Aesop's Fables, and clearly so have many others, or they would not have withstood this test of time as well as they have. If you too enjoy these brilliant fables, drop a like on the video. It'll really help me out. Alright, time for the random wait really of the day. And this time we got a kind of weird one, so let's get into it. So yeah, pig was once hung in France. Really weird. And this is known today due to a receipt that exists from a payment surrounding the execution that states that a large pig mauled a child in its crib and thus was sentenced to be hung. And supposedly other pigs were actually forced to watch so that the pig that was hung would prove as an example. And there was actually a recreation of this event that was painted in a church but was eventually destroyed. And the photo you see here is actually a recreation of that. So yeah, people do some really weird things. Alright, thank you for watching this one. If you enjoyed, please drop a like, subscribe, leave a comment to show your support. Really appreciate that. And yeah, I'll see y'all on the flip side.